I'll get to the point. There's just one thing I wanna say. I'll get to the point. There's just one thing I wanna say.
Where we at?
Yo, what's up, fellas?
Chilling, baby. What's good with you?
Oh man, doing all right. How you doing there, brother Tim?
Mike, doing well. How you doing, sir?
Oh man, doing wonderful, welcome everybody to another episode, another edition of 360 Takeout. I know that we still have friends who are logging in, so we'll get started in just a couple minutes. And while we're preparing to do that, just want to introduce you to 360 Collective. We are a social commentary group who confronts issues of race, racial injustice, and we try to promote racial justice to the extent that we can through this platform and through some other things that we're doing as an organization, which you'll hear a little bit about later on tonight. So I have my good brothers with me, Brother Grant, who hopefully will be along with us shortly, Brother Amari and Brother Tim. All of us this evening are going to share with you our insights on a range of current events. And we're going to approach them from the lens of social consciousness, racial consciousness. But along the way, we hope that you join in as well, that you lend your insight to us, that you lend your knowledge to us so that we can build and do knowledge together. Because while we've prepared some insights on the topics that we'll dive into in just a second, we know that we don't have all of the answers and that you may have an insight or an opinion or some information that can help us to strengthen our own views and understanding of the issues that we are talking about. So we hope to hear from you in the chat. We will drop a link into the chat if you'd like to join us directly into the conversation. But at very least, we would love to hear your reactions to what we're saying. And if you think there's anything that you could add to the conversation to enhance it, we want to hear that as well. So with that said, you can see along the right margin of your screen there, the range of topics that we're going to be talking about tonight. And we're going to move through each one, spend between 5 and 8 minutes on them as we go. And we will pause along the way to react to your comments, to read your comments, and to react to them. So with that said, good brothers, I think that we are ready to go. Did I miss anything?
That's pretty much it, brother.
Sound good.
All right. Well, let's jump into our first topic then.
Britney Griner, arguably the best woman basketball player in the world, has been detained since February 17th in Russia due to possession of hashish oil. Why isn't mainstream media talking about this?
So we're talking about Britney. So she's a 2014 WNBA champ, right? 7-time WNBA All-Star nominee, 2 times shooting champion. 2013, right? Rookie of the year. She's been detained. I think she tried to come home right after the war in Ukraine just had started in the middle of February. And coming home, she was found to have hash oil in her luggage. And at that point, she was detained over in Russia. And she was arrested. And I think right now she's facing about 10 years prison time for that offense. That having that what she had on her possession or in her luggage is illegal in Russia. So that's it. What we would want to discuss tonight is where some of the outrage or where some of the discussion about her being detained there, just especially in Russia at this point in time with the war going on, and maybe even comparing that to maybe even what happened with the Ball brothers when the Ball brothers were one of the Ball brothers were arrested in China maybe a couple of years ago when Trump was president. When one of the brothers were playing for UCLA in China, and they were stealing stuff in the Louis Vuitton store, and how the American government got involved real quickly, more or less, and got involved real quickly and got one of the Ball brothers out fairly quickly, probably within a couple of weeks. So we want to discuss some of those type of things. So, brothers, you have any comment on this so far?
Absolutely.
What you got to say, Tim?
bro, we already know she's 6'9". She's tatted up, she's strong, she's an athlete. We already know if this was a 5'2", blonde hair, blue-eyed little princess with a parasol, she'd been out by now. It'd have been an act of war. Folks been up in arms. But there's another side to this story. This is a multifaceted story. One, that which I've just mentioned, she is not your picturesque, ideal American princess. Two, Russia could be using this to stir the populations involved, right? Russia knows that Black folks are an oppressed people in this country.
Exactly.
Could be using this to say, look, Black folks, why is mainstream society not covering your lost pawn over here, your little lost lamb over here? There is that. And there is the diplomatic end that if we make a big deal out of this, then Russia uses that as a bargaining chip, So it's a multifaceted, complicated story. Very complicated story.
But then why, but then at the same time, it's like, why? Other part of it, then, why isn't the average person making a big deal out of it? Even though, like, we're not even making a big deal out of it, as in just the layman or even other athletes or, anybody else even not even trying to do anything about it.
Yeah, because you know what, I'd heard about it in passing, but it is not mainstream media. It is not. I don't know, man. It's a really unfortunate turn of events because whatever it is they say she had, they're not concerned about doped up athletes on their side. Their athletes.
That's good. That's good. Right.
Their athletes stay
word.
doped up, Yeah. So, they're not concerned about that. So why would they be concerned about this? Whatever it is they say she had some hash or whatever. I don't know, man. Russia and Black folks don't mix either. Russia has a very, very serious problem with racism. So
the other problem with that, though, there are other people that are in jail in Russia. Americans in jail that've been there for a long time. So it's not as if we can expect her to get out anytime soon. There's nothing that's saying that she's going to get out anytime soon. There's nothing that I can sit back and say there's going to pressure her to allow her to be out soon. I just don't see there's anything there. Not at all. I mean, if he's as bad, keep in mind, Biden said openly, let's try to get this man killed, right? The president. So what can we say to their government and say, hey, let this lady go?
Yeah.
We just said we're gonna try to kill you, right? Yeah. Brother Ike, what you got?
I don't have too much to add, but when you mentioned the behaviors and attitudes in Russia towards athletes and performance enhancing drugs, Britney Griner wasn't caught with a performance enhancing drug. So I agree with you completely. This shouldn't anywhere approach the line of what is considered largely acceptable in many forms of athletics in Russia. But then secondly, because there could be some political and likely is some political reason why they're holding her and detaining her, why isn't Biden trying to use this as a political chip from his side? Why isn't the White House trying to prop up Britney Griner as the great American martyr held behind Russian lines? And I mean, it's depressing further to think that it's because of what she looks like, because of her orientation. But I mean, I keep coming back to that. I don't know if you guys have any last thoughts on why Biden wouldn't want to use like a great American athlete held unjustly in Russia as some way to put more pressure on Russia. I mean, clearly they're not. So I'm curious what you guys think about that. That would be my last question or last thought on this.
That's a good thought. I didn't think about that.
I think it would be interesting for him to use Britney Griner as a plug with the Black community. He could at least do that, try to score political points with the Black community and say, hey, let's get this woman out. We know why she's over there. We know why she's being held, but nothing. Crickets. It's mind-boggling. It's not really mind-boggling. It's very simple when you think about it. We know why. Just have to accept that it is what it is.
All right, let's move on. Let's do the knowledge.
The Oscars once again highlighted and celebrated exceptional stories and performances of artists from oppressed populations. Is this progress?
Absolutely. I think who was the first Oscar winner from our population? Was it the one from Gone with the Wind? I think
Gone with the Wind. I think so.
yeah,
You're right.
the one from Gone with the Wind. And to go from her performance in Gone with the Wind, winning an Oscar, and the way she won it and how she won it, and how she wasn't even allowed in the building. She had to cut some deal. Somebody else had to cut a deal with somebody else to get her backstage, to get her Oscar, to where we are now is definite progress as far as the images are concerned that we're seeing and the progress that we've made from the days of Gone with the Wind straight through to Step and Fetch It and Huggy Bear to where we are now. Night and day.
So are you saying that those images of Huggy Bear and Step and Fetch It were bad images compared to some of these images you may say maybe some of those images are bad, as in we may see in some of the television shows that are out now, or versus maybe some of the music we may see that's out now? Are you saying they're are worse out now?
Yeah, that's a good point, because some of the stuff that's out there now makes you cringe just as badly. But yeah, I'm not a huge consumer of media, admittedly. But what I will say is, from the early days of television, right up through the 1970s and early 80s, our representation was really, really horrendous. We had a few positive role models out there, but even our positive role models in television were in dire circumstances, especially the 70s and 80s. Good Times, for example. Our leading male in media was James Evans,
James Evans. Yes.
out of work
and
living in the projects. Sanford and Son, who was a junk man. Rock, who was a garbage man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's funny even with James Evans. The thing is, even with James Evans, like he made the decision. Like he said, like when he died off the show.
Yeah.
I didn't want that role anymore.
Yeah.
And so he got written off. He didn't want to be portrayed that way anymore.
Yeah.
He saw how detrimental it was. So we wrote him off because of that. He didn't want to be seen that way anymore. So yeah. Right. At some point, the check is good, but at some point you see how the effect on people it is too.
Yeah, and in television, we were talking about this earlier. Television, everything in it, about it, and film is designed for effect. There's not 1 second of any television show, movie, play, anything like that where anybody's like, oh, this doesn't really matter. Every second counts because it's designed to achieve an effect, be it, like I said before, selling toothpaste or tampons or beer or whatever. Every second of everything is designed for effect. Now, we have to look at these images and we have to ask ourselves, are we better people now because we saw that first incarnation of the Cosby Show during our childhood, as opposed to, Step and Fetch It and Huggy Bear and images like this, so yeah.
I mean, I think it's kind of hard. One point about it is that I think that what we have now is more developed characters. As in, let's say that you can take a character like, what's a character who plays not like Omar on the Wire or something like that. Like the thing is that even though he can be the protagonist, he can be the evil person, or anybody on that show can be on the Wire could be the quote unquote the bad person, but they develop so well, it's written so well to the point where you can find yourself that person, or you can find yourself inside that person to the point where you can identify, and you can find yourself walking with that person just by the writing. The writing is done so well, and so I think that's why that show is done. has done well because the writing is well. The cinematography of it is good. And so maybe we look past some of that imagery because of the writing, not looking at the imagery because of the drug selling and those type of things. And I think personally that maybe I do that too when I'm listening to hip hop. I think I look past the negative imagery sometimes if the writing is done well. And so I don't want to condone what I'm hearing, but I think I know what I do for myself personally. If the lyrics are right, I'm like, okay, I'm with it. But I think at some point we do got to look at the effects. And I think that's pretty much what you're saying. Like, okay, yeah, it's good that we like it. We can sit here and judge it for the cinematography, the effects of that, or how it's written. But then let's sit back and see what Stephen Fetch did, or let's see the effects of a Cosby Show or whatever, and see how did it affect society, and was it good for us or bad for us or whatever. And sometimes that work needs to be done.
It needs to be done, and it's definitely being done because those images have begun to slowly vanish from society. And I'll say this as quickly as I possibly can. Late 80s, early 90s, Cosby was on TV, and every week he had a different HBCU sweater.
Hey, no doubt. Alabama A&M all day long, baby.
We had A Different World and Living Single, and these kinds of images are slowly disappearing and giving way to what we have now, which is a completely different thing, which I think is a gangster rap based cultural model. You know what I mean? So that's where I am with that.
Brother Ike.
No, I think Tim made the point that I would have made, which is that at some point you had a show like Different World, which was a completely constructive, thoughtful program, The Cosby Show too. And what shows do we have today that are like that? I mean, what show is there? There isn't. And I think the decline of that genre coincides really well. I appreciate how you mentioned that, Tim. I agree. Like there's a point when rap music was making things happen. When people were actually talking about social transformation, revolution, getting together, and that was put to a stop quickly.
I think that if we just say music, that music's out there too. It's out there. It's still,
but it doesn't have a budget. It doesn't have a distribution.
Right. But it doesn't mean that it's not there. So
right. That's true.
Some part about that is I think if we go back to the hip hop people that we are and go back to the 90s, some part about that relies us to go dig in the crates. We got to go find that. These young people some of these artists don't have a budget. They don't have a budget at all, and they make these people popular. And today, and some part about this is today's way of getting things out there, they do it themselves. So there's stuff out there that's great. And don't get me wrong. All of it is that there's an image that people want us to be seen a certain way. It's one way. So let's not overlook that. We know what that looks like. But there's stuff out there. I think that we got to we got to work harder to get a certain image, that image out. I know Tim might got some great stuff out there that we need to promote more. There is some better MCs that maybe we need to promote more. Maybe we could do something like that at the end of every show. I think we all got a responsibility to make sure that we say something or advise people of this is what we need to have. If we all go back to 1982 or 1992, we all spoke on, did you see this episode or did you hear this song? Right? And that's how stuff got done when we were younger. Maybe we need to go back to a little bit of those type of things. Did you hear that? Did you hear this? Or like I did it this morning. I don't know if y'all heard Jay-Z dropped something nice this morning, right? It's something real nice. Now it had my morning going. Because that's the essence of hip hop. But I think that there's some good things out there that is just not getting that shine. And they might need us to push, or people like us to push those more positive shows or readings or whatever. So maybe it gets some more views. It got to. I mean, it's out there. People are making it. It's out there. We just got to find it. It might never get to NBC. It might never get to HBO, but you know, we just got to find it. We got to look for it. We all got to help each other
Shout out
out.
to Black Mavericks. Shout out to Black Mavericks. Tobias Black.
Yeah. We talked to him in this wonderful MC history before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll have him back on actually when we premiere the
yeah.
JT versus everybody.
And keep in mind, I mean, that's a younger brother than us, and he already has a foundation of great MCing. So yeah, the people out there.
All right.
President Joe Biden recently called Vladimir Putin a war criminal, and Ukraine President Zelensky wants Russia removed from the UN Security Council. How should the UN and the International Criminal Court respond?
Oh man, I felt really strongly that we go back to this particular topic because the war in Ukraine is still happening, and every week there are new things happening. And so the way that I think that the United Nations should respond, and the way that the International Criminal Court, which are two different entities, the UN has its own separate court system. The International Criminal Court is different even from that entity. The International Criminal Court, first off, is an organization that nations must opt into. And there are 3 countries right now for the purpose of this discussion that are important for us to identify as not being in the International Criminal Court. Those 3 countries are the United States, Russia, and Ukraine. Those 3 countries are not part of the International Criminal Court because neither of the 3 want to be prosecuted for their own war crimes.
Mm-hmm.
So when Biden calls Putin a war criminal, that's like the
Calling
the kettle black?
Yeah, exactly.
Damn right. That's exactly what the hell that is.
Exactly what it is.
What the hell that is.
I didn't want to say it. You're right.
It isn't just Biden. It's every U.S. president that has preceded him, including dear brother Barack Obama.
Exactly.
Every single one of them is a war criminal because the United States right now is fighting proxy wars in different regions all across the planet. And I'll just highlight a couple of them in particular. So first off, we currently support a regime of apartheid in Israel. And what we're looking at here is a picture of the West Bank and is an Israeli settlement that has been constructed over the course of many years in the West Bank. The West Bank, by an agreement between the Palestinians and Israeli authorities, is supposed to be sacred territory that belongs to the Palestinians. Israel continuously gobbles up parts of land, displaces people who live on that land, and creates settlements, low cost, highly affordable, and even give tax credits to Israelis to move into these places to solidify their claim over the entire region and to ultimately abolish Palestine as we know it today and its people as we know them today. And this hasn't been happening just recently. This has been happening since 1948. Mm-hmm. The United States was the first organization to recognize Israel when it established itself as a nation following World War II. And it was in that year alone that almost 1 million Palestinians were displaced through military action, through terror action, through brutality, through violence, and even through murder and pillage. And it was the United States who stood by and supported this and has been the greatest supporter, financial and otherwise, of Israel in the world. So when we talk about war crimes, our support of Israel and its behavior is far more of a war crime than anything, literally anything that Russia is doing in right now. Another thing that I want to call out is what's happening in Yemen. Under President, not only Trump, but even going back to President Obama, we have helped Saudi Arabia to take control of key parts of Yemen and to fight against a regime there that is thought to be friendly to Iran. There's a religious division between many countries in the Middle East. Iran is a Shia nation and Saudi Arabia is a Sunni nation. And as I think our viewers know, we send millions, in fact, billions of dollars to Saudi Arabia every year in aid, specifically for their military. And it's been through that particular support that we've helped Saudi Arabia wage a war in Yemen, because they feel that Yemeni leadership is unfriendly and is a threat to their own security, because they are aligned more with Iran than they feel that they are aligned with Saudi Arabia. And so there's where Yemen is, and you can see Saudi Arabia and Iran just to the north there. And so the United States has participated in regime change in Yemen. That regime change, and that was years ago. That was, I believe, under the Obama administration. But that regime change didn't stick. And so new leadership took hold in Yemen. And that leadership was a little bit friendlier to Iran than it was to Saudi Arabia. And so it was through Saudi Arabia that we executed a war to try to install friendly leadership in Yemen. Not only have we given Saudi Arabia billions of dollars to wage war, but we've actually executed our own air raids there. We've sent drones and launched missile strikes and everything in Yemen that have killed thousands and thousands of civilians, have starved different populations and villages. And there are human rights groups now who for a long time have been calling the crisis in Yemen, the civil war in Yemen, the greatest human rights crisis in our time and in any recent memory. And yet we don't say shit about it in the news. And so when we talk about war crimes, the way that we've helped Saudi Arabia decimate Yemen qualifies far more as a war crime than anything Russia is doing in Ukraine. So what do I think that the United Nations should do? What do I think that the ICC should do? I think they should arrest Joe Biden. That's the easiest way that I can put it. What do y'all think, man? I know I took all the time on this one, but what do y'all think, man?
I agree. I think that it's just I agree. That's like I said.
We would have to hand over some of our most revered politicians if we were to sign on as signatories to the ICC. Talking about Henry Kissinger would have to go. Donald Rumsfeld would be gone in a pair of seconds. There's a whole lot of people that would just be out of here, locked up. So we can't sign that. And as far as them helping Saudi Arabia to decimate the Yemeni population because of our interests over there, I don't put anything past the United States as far as that's concerned, because we're talking about a government that will make a treaty and break it 399 times just to protect their own interests. So yeah, no, I don't put nothing past them. You're right. Arrest a slew of them. Arrest a whole lot of them. You know, because war itself is a crime. Old men who can't stand each other use young men who don't know each other to kill each other. You know what I mean?
Say that again, Tim.
Old men who don't know each other use young men who don't know each other to kill each other. You know what I mean? And it doesn't make any kind of sense. Why not Putin and Zelensky get in the ring and fight it out, man? Why you have to send all these 20-year-olds and 30-year-olds out here and 40 and 50-year-olds out here with old weapons and farm rifles and stuff like that to defend their country when Putin has an agenda? You know, war itself to me is a crime, man, because I've been in one, and it just doesn't make sense. It never solves the problem. Every war creates another war. This war between Russia, this invasion between Russia and Ukraine will create another conflict. This conflict was created by a conflict, World War II, which was created by World War I. So how far down the rabbit hole do we want to go with this whole war thing before we evolve beyond this type of thing on this planet? I think, I don't want to get into open up Pandora's box, but we don't need to study war anymore.
Yeah, right on. All right, next topic. Let's go.
The NCAA, which governs college athletics, made $1.16 billion in fiscal 21 including more than $800 billion just from the men's NCAA basketball tournament alone. Are college athletes fairly compensated?
I think
No.
a lot of people. Well, you say? You say no?
No, they are not fairly compensated. I think that I had a cousin who played college basketball on a full scholarship for the Tennessee Volunteers and then went on to play for the Pacers. And the Volunteers are a basketball powerhouse in this country. He got a full ride scholarship, but that's all he ever got. And Tennessee is probably still spending money that he made them as a college basketball star. So, no, they're not fairly compensated. They need to be compensated because they're out here blowing their knees out and tearing their ACLs and all that kind of stuff and risking it all in college during the height of their physicality and the peak of their physical ability for no compensation.
What level of compensation is needed, though? I think a lot of people are judging it based on what it looked like in 1955, 1960. When a college degree was one thing and pay scale was one thing. There was no TV rights or anything. The money coming from TV was, all those things were the same of 1950, 1960. And so all those things were this. No one's judging how colleges started getting paid when, money really started coming into play. And I think that's the problem. If people are really getting paid and the people who are putting on the product are not. And so now the area want to view it as this is all amateur, but you have the coaches making more than the teachers of the university. Like was said, like this tournament could have made, what was it, 800 million maybe? Was it 800 million? 800 billion just from the men's NCAA basketball tournament alone? And no, the kids didn't get too much of that money. I know they got money for food and maybe some small allowances, but no money. And so they had to fight for some of the states allowing them to have like it's called an NIL,
yeah.
Yeah, the NIL, that's in likeness. It's
It's on the screen there. Name, image, and likeness.
And so they had to fight for that. It goes back to something like the O'Bannon situation where like there was O'Bannon used to play for UCLA basketball, and one day he saw his image on a video game. The video game probably cost him $40-some, and he saw his image on NCAA. I forgot what it was, NCAA basketball, whatever. And he was like, "That's me, my stats, my moves, my signature moves, but I don't get paid at all for this." And you just think how many of these games were sold, and I don't benefit for any of it. And then on top of that, you think of the Final Four, or the Fat Five. They sparked the whole nation just on based on how they were dressing, and all these kids are setting trends or jersey sales, and they don't get anything at all. And that's one thing. And then people speak on their college degree, but the quality of their degree may be not as great as it could be, because some of these kids are spending so much time away from class. Right? Think of how many hours they're spending on the road. How many hours versus being in the classroom. That level of degree is not worth maybe somebody else who's not going to school. And then they can't work, right? So there's so many things that's in there that's not as talked about that maybe should be. But no one's talking about the coaches and that the facilities that people are getting in, the endorsements, the Nike deals, those type of things, right?
How are they building these multi-million-dollar stadiums, hundreds of $1 stadiums that seat thousands upon thousands of people, and they're soaking up all this money off the talent and energy and passion of these kids. These are kids, man.
Kids.
Anything. And they get a if they go all the way through, they get a free education worth maybe 30 grand, 40 grand. while they make the school tens of millions of dollars over their college career.
And if you talk to some of them, they're still hungry or whatever. And even back, if we go back to NIL, keep in mind that the NIL, the school's not still paying them. It's not the school that's paying them.
Right.
And that's the problem. Even though they can make some money, as in now they can get an endorsement from the local Ford dealership. It's still like booster money, right? The school, the people who are still generating the Tennessee State is not paying them. But Western Michigan University is still not paying them for them going to school and sacrificing their knees or whatever. They're still not getting money from the school for playing. It's somebody who wants to still want to get something from the kid. Somebody else is getting something from the kid again. So it's the schools are getting over, and I think they definitely need to be paid, compensated in some way. Unionize. I know they tried unionizing a couple of years ago. I think they really need to figure out the best way of doing it. Because there's too much money put on the table. But
y'all got it. I don't have anything to add to that one, man. Let's jump into this last topic before our promotion for what's going on next week.
What's the best show or film you've seen in 2022?
Man. Well, I have to say, I don't know if this was a 2022 movie, but I'm bringing it back to The Harder They Fall, right? Because the way the production was put together, the people who put it together, and the purpose of the film. I just think it was, I don't want to say a stellar production, but it was a strong effort by the producers and the directors and the cinematographers and what they did and the all-star cast that they put together. I thought it was a wonderful effort. It was jingoism in that it was kind of like Django, you know what I mean? It was like rah, rah, black man, kind of a gratuitous kind of sense of that. But I really thought it was good work, and I really enjoyed it. And it really motivated me to kind of tell these stories myself as well. This is an instance where, Jay-Z was pulling most of the strings, but he had to have distribution, and he had to have some good white folks behind him to help him pull this off. So I want to give him a shout out too, because we can't do it alone. But yeah, that would be one of mine. I don't know if that was last year or this year, but that was.
No, I didn't see it. I didn't see it at all. I didn't see
it. See it?
I didn't see it.
I did take the time and make the effort to see it.
I meant to watch it. It got past me. I watch it tonight. I'm gonna watch it tonight.
I wanted to see this new leading man that everybody was talking about, and in this breakout role for him and everything. And I wanted to take a look at some of the controversial aspects of the film, like the colorism and everything, because I believe it was Stagecoach Mary that was a large, brown, round woman, and Stagecoach Mary in this film is a tiny little cute, biracial woman with a lot of hair. I just wanted to see these things and experience these things for myself, and I thought that they put together a good effort. No Hollywood movie is ever perfect, and this one was far from perfect, but I thought they put together a good effort. But it was a little bit jingoistic in that it was like kind of gratuitous in its blackness.
What about, like, do you watch any TV at all? Are you big on TV at all now?
I'm not really big on TV. I'm really not big on television because although I've done a lot of TV commercials, I hate them. And right at the climax of my show, bam, toothpaste.
Okay, right, okay.
You know what I mean? And that really gets on my nerves. But I do watch a lot of Netflix. Well, not a lot. I do watch some Netflix at times, but I'm not really a consumer of media as much as a producer.
So you said some of your shows. So let me at some point, Mr. Tim, we might have to put some of a reel of yours together so people can see some of your work, right?
Oh yeah, that's no problem.
Okay, so but is it okay that we laugh at you at the same time?
Yeah, hey, listen, I show you something right now. You'll bust a gut.
Because we will laugh. We can't laugh. Have you seen something like? Have you seen it?
Only what's it called? The Lone Man.
Lone Man. Yeah, that was me. That was
no. I'm talking about the one of his work when he's on television shows and the commercials. Have you seen
Oh,
that?
I don't think so. I don't think
Oh,
so.
you gotta see it. I mean, like I saw you talking about there's the one with the phone company.
Yeah, yeah.
What's that one with your police officer?
That is Damages. There's Damages. I've
That was
done
on. That
several
was on.
police officer roles. I think the one you really want to see is the Talking Turkey commercial.
Were you a goblin? Oh my gosh, Tim. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, you was gobbling. He was gobbling, dude. Yeah. We will let the people get to see you in a more serious light, and then they're gonna say, okay, what was you doing? So we'll let you. We'll wait. Maybe a couple more months.
We have to make a whole show just for that.
Oh man, you gotta see him gobbling. Oh, you're gonna sit back and say, what in the world? Right.
Yeah, it takes work. It's very difficult. It's very difficult. That came from deep down inside.
I bet it's funny. That is hilarious.
Places where they just don't necessarily talk about.
Oh man, gosh. I guess now that we outside a little bit, I think what's out there. Gosh, Sing. Atlanta's good. Oh, we put that. Okay, so let's go back. Well, I saw Sing maybe a couple of times, and Sing was pretty good because of I saw it twice with my daughter, and I think that's something that we enjoy. We get a chance to sing together. And lo and behold, don't let nobody tell you say anything against this. I think that I have a wonderful voice, so I think I can sing. So she tells me that I can, so I believe her. So with that, we go see stuff like that.
What song were you singing?
Stop it. Oh, let me say something. in the beginning of Sing 2, they got the Prince joint, I think it's 1999. Please, they jamming in that one. So that's in there.
You were singing with that one? You were singing with that?
Oh man, we came home and jammed out to that one. You best believe it.
Like what?
Stop! I can't do it now because anybody paying me. I do bar mitzvahs. I do bar mitzvahs, birthdays, and stuff like that. Contact us. I come out for a fee. Atlanta, I think Atlanta's a good show right now that's out there that he put up. I think they had two good shows that thought provoking. I
heard the premiere for Atlanta was a pretty big deal, man. Is there anything you can say about it without?
Oh man, I can't because me and my wife talked about it quite a bit when it first came out. It was shocker, and I thought I watched it, and then she hit me with some stuff. Did you see this part? Did I see that part? I'm like, no, I didn't see that. And I'm like, oh, do I got to watch it again because I missed it? Because sometimes you watch something and you miss it, and I'm like, I didn't even, like it has nothing to do with like the Atlanta show. It has more something to do with I forgot that it happened a couple of years ago. I can't. Everybody go check it out. I think it's a wonderful. I can't even remember what it was called, but that it was good. The very first show was great. I do like watching Snowfall. Is it called Snowfall?
Yeah,
Snowfall is great. Oh gosh, but those are those more television shows that got stuff behind it, but that's pretty much it, man. But I think Sing is probably something that I enjoy so far this year. Go ahead, Ike. What you got? Ike like This Is Us. He was trying to get me to watch it for the years, and I'm like, nah, I'm not doing it. I'm not able to do it.
I do like This Is Us, so I would recommend This Is Us to anyone that wants a show to watch with their significant other, something to just sort of chill out and watch. But be prepared to talk about it afterwards, and it's almost too emotional. It's like every episode they try to pull at your heartstrings, which can be a little overwhelming at times. So
you be crying?
Huh?
You be crying?
Yeah.
But, I can see that. Ain't nothing wrong with crying. I can see that. I can see you crying though.
Yeah. I know you can. Yeah, so that's a good one. I wouldn't say it's the best thing I've seen. So I think I'll go in two directions. So first off, I want to shout out my guy Kevin, who directed this film, Let the Little Light Shine. It's a documentary about a school where I was the principal here in Chicago, and the school is threatened with being closed in order to make way for a high school for a more affluent residents in a gentrifying neighborhood near the school. And so I recommend that you go to the website and check out the trailer and sign up for updates. The film has been in film festivals right now. It's been getting great reviews, and it'll probably be coming to a city near you soon. So sign up for updates on that. That's a terrific film. So I had to say that.
No. Keep in mind, I think you're right. You should be saying
I
that. I think this week it is. If you guys are not going to be in Detroit in a few weeks, but I think this week at the Full Frame Festival, you guys are not going to be in North Carolina. I think it's Charlotte, North Carolina. You can't watch the film online. To watch the film, you can't pay for it to watch it online this weekend. Pretty much, because I think I'm gonna do it. Make sure I'm watching this weekend also.
Oh, you're not gonna wait till we're in Detroit, huh?
I can't watch it both 2 times.
You can't wait. You can't wait, huh?
I can't wait. I want to make sure I want to support it more than once.
Okay.
So let me tell you something. Tell the people something. So your boy done got on my nerves a few times. So he thinks that because he wrong and I because we arguing a little bit, I can still support him. So I'm gonna support him. I'm gonna support the movie. I'm gonna do it more than once, and I'm gonna watch it this weekend. I'm gonna watch it and sit down and enjoy it because I know it's a good film. Because I know what type of brother he is, and it's gonna be what it is. That's how I'm gonna do it. Everybody else should do it.
I'm actually looking forward to seeing it on the big screen.
Me too.
I'm actually looking forward to seeing it on the big screen and seeing what's really going on.
Yeah.
It ought to be. I'm excited. I love
excited. Exactly. Your boy on screen. What can you do about it? Right.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Actually, Amari, I forgot to tell you, man, I lost your ticket for the Detroit joint. So
let me tell you something. It don't even matter. This is worth paying for. And it ain't about the issue. None of that. I was gonna pay anyway. Ain't nothing about.
No, I'm saying you can't get in, man. All the tickets.
Oh, no. That's all right. It's all right. It's all right. It's all right. It don't even matter. I'm outside. I'm outside with the with the sign saying "Go Ike." I'm your cheerleader on this one, baby. It don't even matter.
Oh man!
All right.
I support you 100% on this one. It don't even matter.
Okay.
Well, it's your time, Sean.
I appreciate that. I love you, bro. So, but you might have a reaction to this. Tim and I got to talk about it a little bit about Kanye, I guess generally. So I want to hold this up as one of the best things that I've seen in 2022. This is a documentary about Kanye West, and it was produced and directed by, I think his name is Cootie.
Yeah.
And he got to know Kanye West at a really young age before Kanye was anywhere close to Rockefeller Records, before he was anywhere close to even a record deal or producing for any major rap acts. Like, he was on the streets of Chicago with his group, still trying to make a name for himself when Cootie encounters him for the first time. And they struck up a relationship. And as things started to happen for Kanye, he invited Cootie to sort of follow him along on his journey to try to get a record deal. And that was the project. The original intent of the project was, hey, just follow me as I try to make my way in the industry, and let's just see where it goes. And it built from there into like a 20-year journey, basically, where Cootie was documenting different parts of Kanye's life. Now, granted, in fairness, I'm not a Kanye West fan. I enjoyed his music very early in his career, and I'd say over the last 5 to 6 years, I've he's fallen out of favor with me for reasons that I think all of us may know and understand already. But seeing this documentary helped me understand more about who he is as a person and what his struggles have been. And frankly, you get a really inside, detailed look at his life now, and it made me sad for Kanye. I'll just say it that way. It made me sad for him, and it made me wish him well. Like, I really want Kanye to come back, and get back on top. Not going back to who he was before, because I don't believe in that. I believe in growth. But I want him to get through whatever it is he's going through, because I'm 100% certain that he's going through something. And he's not well. And I don't know why he's not well. I don't know how he's not well, but I know he's not well. And I wish him the best as a person, but also because of the great art that I know he can make. So I know, Amari, we've talked about this before. I know, Tim, you might have some reaction too.
A lot of money make you crazy. Money changes everything. And
Yeah.
where he was a brilliant lyricist and a brilliant producer and a great musician, an entertainer, and an artist. Something happened between the time he lost his mother and all this fame and fortune, and all these really high stakes. They seem to have caused him to crack, and I think the situation with his mom and the situation with his relationship, because Kanye was a relatively young man when all this stuff started to happen for him, and you have to know how to handle life's stresses and pressures and the roller coaster ride that life can be. And for a man as young as he was at the time, he fell victim to what a lot of young stars fall victim to. They implode. Look at Britney Spears and some of these names where she's on national TV shaving her head, and it's just you can't predict what fame and fortune and the pressures of success will do to a young person, even to an older person. Sometimes they just seem to implode when they get all these people around them telling them nothing but yes and giving them whatever they want. Can't be an easy thing to go through. I'm hoping that I have to experience it one day, but I'm not a young person, so I feel like I handle it a little bit better. But yeah, mess around and give me a multi-million-dollar windfall based on some intellectual property that I produce. It's liable to change me. And if people are running around calling me a genius for this reason or that reason and kissing my butt and giving me whatever I want, that could change a person's personality and perspective on life and the way they treat the people around them. So,
keep in mind, it happens to babies all the time. It happens to babies. So imagine, though I think it was done well. As in, we look at the how it was edited, those type of things. It was done well.
Yeah.
What did it do for me as liking the artist? I think it didn't allow me to like him anymore. Because then I think it exposed what we're seeing now. I saw it at an early age. I saw the arrogance then. I mean, it was there, but then I saw the narcissism even more. It was protected then at an early age because it was all right. He didn't have anything, but his mother said it. His mother saw it. In one episode, she talked about something about the lion or the dinosaur or something like that. She was trying to tell him, she was trying to warn him, your behavior is out of control. She saw it then.
Mm-hmm.
And then I saw, I mean, it was there. It's like you think you're more than what you are, and you're not. You know what I'm saying? And I think that he thought he was bigger than what he was. And then, like you said, Tim, once you got people around you feeding into that, nobody's telling you no. Everybody's telling you yes. And then you add in other type of substances. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it was recipe for disaster. So I think that's part of it. That's it.
Yeah.
But it was done well. You're right. I mean, I forgot about that one. That's a wonderful documentary, and on somebody that I won't say I used to love. I think he still produces decent music, and you might be able to find a decent track on the album here and there. But I think he's. I don't know. I don't know what he is. I can't.
I would challenge you both to go to Google Images and type in Kanye West with Trump and then Sammy Davis Jr. with Nixon, and look at the pictures and look at the similarities in the pictures of Sammy Davis with Nixon and Kanye with Trump, and draw your own conclusions.
Well, I'm saying we know that it's not. This part of it is gone. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, that's him. That's him going. I mean, that's who he is as a person. I don't want to judge him personally. If I could just judge if I just want to judge his music, as in maybe I didn't see all those type of things. If I just want to judge it sonically, there's something there sonically that people can sit back and appreciate. And so that's what I want to do. I want to say, if I just want to judge it sonically, man, he can produce something. He can say he's doing something. He can do something. I think people are still holding on to that. The same way if you want to sit back and still hold on to a R. Kelly album, it's still something there, right? It's still something there. But then also there's still something there that pushes it away. And so some part there's that battle within everybody. It's still something there for R. Kelly. There's still something there for a Kanye West. But then there's something internally that says, no, I'm good. I'm good with that. I think I think for other people, that Trump was that line is too far.
For me, it was slavery sounds like a choice.
Yeah.
But
But
I can't imagine how somebody would say something so ignorant for any reason other than just to get attention. And a person like that, you can't really put too much stock in there.
But at the same time, I think we allowed, because he wasn't Jay-Z or rhyming like Jay-Z, we put him on a pedestal as a conscious rapper, and that's not what he was. He might have said some clever things that was not on a corner selling whatever. He wasn't Beanie Siegel or shooting up somebody. Since he wasn't that, automatically stop it, man.
No. Go to the one with Sammy Davis hugged up on this.
He wasn't automatically that. So we equated, since he's not Beanie Siegel's, he's not.
Draw your own conclusion. But
like I said,
brother over Sammy Davis's shoulder.
That's too much.
So I don't have nothing against Kanye. I just keep him at arm's length. You know what I mean?
Right. So that's what I'm saying. So I mean, when this Kanye is like, but at the same time, it's this Kanye was the same old. That's what I'm saying. This Kanye is the same old Kanye. It's now when you go back and listen, it's the same stuff. He's saying the same stuff though. So now you do go back and listen. Oh, he's saying the same stuff then. It just sounds different though. You know what I'm saying? It's just now with a different lens. Maybe also we're older, and things mean differently too, though. You know what I'm saying? But
Hey, but look, I did you see it, Amari? Did you see Genius?
Yeah. It's great.
Okay, so in the last episode, to me, he's in a place that goes beyond his narcissism. And what I mean, and I don't mean to suggest that I don't agree with you both, because I do, that the narcissism, the ego that he had, I think led him to a place. But I think that place now, he's gone off the cliff.
No, yeah, I agree with you.
It's not just that he needs to take a step back from the edge of his narcissism. It's that he's completely fallen off the cliff, and he's in another place now where it's beyond humbling himself.
Yeah.
He needs like psychotherapy.
He needs no.
Did you remember the way he was talking to a few, and the Cootie had to cut the camera off? He was just rambling about totally incoherent, just blabber. Blabber. There's no other way I could describe it.
That was then. Imagine without help. I don't know when that was recorded. Imagine what it is now, because it only gets worse.
That's what I'm trying to. That's exactly.
It only gets worse without the attention. Right. So imagine what that is. And so it's only so of course you'll keep doing these erratic things because there's nobody addressing what's going on. So a lot of manic behaviors going on right now.
Yeah, manic. Yeah.
All
right, we talked about Kanye enough.
Yeah.
I was getting that look from Tim, like, are we really still talking about Kanye West?
But the thing is that I think maybe it's not West, maybe it's the talk on mental health, because West is not West could just be the face, but there always this level of anxiety that he could be going through that sometimes people go through, and they find themselves in against the forced up against that wall, and they do certain things that they have probably always inside of them, but once they force in that corner, they're fighting to get out, and there's no one around them to help them, hold their hand, to guide them, do anything. So of course they're gonna do some self-destructive behaviors, and that's why sometimes we need people around us that loves us enough to sit back and say, you need to go somewhere, or you need this, or you need that.
Right. All right. Well, look. Let me close this out, because next week we won't be on Wednesday, but we will be on Thursday, April 14th. We already have a great deal of interest in this event. I think about 800 people. Yeah, 800 people have expressed interest in this online event. So we'll be leading. Actually, Brother Grant will be leading, and we'll be supporting him in leading a book discussion by book written by Rick Ross called "The Perfect Day to Boss Up." So we hope that you will join us for that. There are some good lessons in the book that Brother Grant will help us to internalize and to understand. And so we hope that you come back next week on Thursday at 7 p.m. Central Time 8 p.m. Eastern time, and of course 5 p.m. Pacific time. So that's happening next week. We hope that you join us. And then, of course, the week after that, we'll be back on Wednesday night for another edition of 360 Takeout.
Word.
So, brothers, it's been great as always, man. And I look forward to seeing you guys next week.
No doubt.
Absolutely.
All right. Real powers, people, brothers.
Peace.